scheduled, due to an error on my part, 2 events that are to occur at 7 o'clock. A town meeting, in which case we will be discussing 3 items of appropriation that we need people to vote on, and the public hearing that is going to talk about the sale of the Samuel Smith House portion of the property to the Sportsman's Club. So I need to open one and recess it, and then we'll open the other so that we fall within the confines of the regulation, 7 o'clock. So I apologize for that. Attorney Cushman, the town moderator, is here. So why don't we open the town meeting? I will open the public hearing with a motion. We'll convene the Board of Selectmen and recess that for 15 or 20 minutes or however long it takes to get through the business of the town meeting, and then we'll do that. Is that all right with everybody? Okay. All right. So I guess the proper way to do that would be we have to convene a meeting of the Board of Selectmen, or is just open the public hearing?
Open the public hearing.
All right. So we need a motion from the Board of Selectmen to open the public hearing at 7 o'clock. Made and seconded. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion is 5-0. Who's ever taking those minutes? Thank you, Karen. So then we'll ask for a motion to recess the public hearing until such time as the town meeting is over. Made, seconded, Mr. Siri. Discussion on that item? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? 5. Thank you so much, and I apologize for that inconvenience.
Thank you, Mr. First Selectman. And we'll try to move this meeting along as quickly as possible. So I'm going to open the special town meeting for March 20th, 2013. Mr. Siri, if you could lead us in the pledge, please.
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Siri. I'm Eugene Cushman. I'm the town meeting moderator. Madam Town Clerk, if you could read the call, please.
Notice is hereby given of a special town meeting of the Town of East Lyme to be held on Wednesday, March 20th, 2013 at 7 p.m. at the East Lyme Town Hall, 108 Pennsylvania Avenue, Niantic, to consider and act upon the following. To appropriate the amount of $221,564 for the purpose of acquiring by way of a lease or purchase a simulcast system to be added to the town's existing communications system, more particularly described in the town's FY 2012-2013 capital improvement plan, as evidenced one or more agreements for the acquisition of said system by lease or purchase or a combination thereof for a total price of $213,131 plus interest at the rate of 1.59% per annum, payable in annual installments of $44,313, which is $3,693 per month over a period of 5 years. The first selectman is authorized in the name and on behalf of the town to execute and deliver any documents that may be required in connection with said transactions. Number 2, to appropriate the amount of $59,118 for the purpose of repairing, renovating, and installing related improvements to the town's parking lot at Cheney Park. And number 3, to appropriate the amount of $29,000 to budget account 0170-725-224-006 NSEP equipment and corresponding revenue account 0104-400-401 NSEP grants to purchase the equipment noted in the Port Security Proposal Town of East Lyme to include 3 2012 Polaris 500cc ATVs with storage boxes and safety gear, and 1 2012 Yamaha VX1100A MA jet ski, including Coast Guard safety package and associated trailer. 4, to conduct such other business as may properly come before the meeting. Dated at East Lyme, Connecticut, this 20th day of March 2013. The call was signed by the members of the Board of Selectmen, posted on the signpost, published in the day, and filed in my office.
Thank you, Madam Town Clerk. As usual, we'll go over the ground rules for a town meeting. Under Connecticut General Statute 7-6, to vote at this meeting, you must be an elector of the town or 18 years of age, a U.S. citizen. You must own property on the grand list of 10-1-12 in an amount of $1,000 or more. Under Connecticut General Statute 9-360, any person who votes at this meeting but is not qualified to vote is subject to a fine of not less than $300, no more than $500, imprisonment not less than 1 year, no more than 2 years, disenfranchisement, or all of the above. Now, if it's necessary to have registrar, someone count any votes, then I'm going to appoint Ms. Moran as the checker and teller. If you wish to speak, please come to the podium, give your name and address for the record. If you are not eligible to vote but you wish to speak, please make that fact known before you speak. Anyone making any outbursts or gratuitous remarks may be asked to leave the meeting. Any expenditure that's on the call may be approved, disapproved, or decreased, but it may not be moved to increase that amount. We'll take all the items as they appear in the order, and I will entertain a motion for the first item on the agenda, which is to appropriate the amount of $221,564 for the purpose of acquiring by way of lease or purchase a simulcast system to be added to the town's existing communication system, more particularly described in the town's fiscal year 2012-2013 capital improvement plan, as evidenced by one or more agreements for the acquisition of said system by lease or purchase, or a combination thereof, for a total price of $213,131 plus interest at the rate of 1.59% per annum, payable in annual installments of $44,313 at the rate of $3,693 per month over a period of 5 years. The first selectman is authorized to name on behalf of the town to execute and deliver any documents and that may be required in connection with said transaction. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Seri, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Nickerson. The motion has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Mr. First Selectman, you wish to speak?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Good evening, everyone. By way of explanation this evening, this is an update to our system. It allows us to add the equipment necessary and the locations necessary to go from 1 antenna to 3 in our system, and to make sure that they all of the corners of the system are able to read each other at the same time. And this was approved, and the first payment is actually in this year's budget. But when we never did get to this point, but it was approved at the Board of Selectmen level, at the Board of Finance level, and then at the town meeting, capital plan, and discussed and then voted in when this budget was passed this year. But a change of companies has caused us to be here, and we are here after having reapproved at the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance and asking for your consideration of this item. Mr. Morris is here to further describe any of the details, should you require any of that. But this will allow us to move forward and I think pretty much be done with our communication system. As you know, we bought some years ago and upgraded all the radios in the systems, and now this will provide the opportunity for everybody to kind of see each other from the 3 corners of the town. And further, when we get the meters for the water meters are all old, and in the next few years we hope to come to you and ask for an update of that. They will be radio read, and this will help to facilitate that situation. So at some point in time, when those come forward, this will be a benefit to that. So that's a quick explanation. If you have further questions regarding detail, Mr. Morris is here, who is our Emergency Management Director. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. First Selectman. Would anyone else like to be heard? Yes, Ms. Rack.
Yes, Karen Rack, 27 Black Point Road. Through you, Mr. Moderator, why would you use emergency management to take care of water meters?
Okay. Would anyone like to respond to that, Mr. First Selectman?
I will. Emergency management is going to take care of the system, the simulcast system in terms of the radio, the emergency the emergency management and public safety community are the ones that will use this in the near future. The water department and water and sewer department will take care of the meters, but the radio red portion of the meters will use the system in order to transmit the signal.
Thank you, Mr. First Selectman. Yes, Ms. Rack.
Yes, I'd have to say that I don't agree with the use of that. Water is not basically taxpayers will be paying for something, but the water department will be using it, which actually should be something if water meters are going to be put in, and this is ultimately going to be part of what this radio system is used for, then the water department through the use of the ratepayers, not the taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rack. Would anyone else like to be heard? Mr. Drabeck.
John Drabeck, 18 Drabeck Road. Yeah, we keep doing communications. Seems like every year and a half, oh, we got to upgrade. Yeah, well, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But it seems like every 2 minutes we're reconfiguring our communication system because the promises of the previous one didn't come to fruition. We're paying this over 5 years. My bet is in 2 years it's obsolete and they'll be coming back for more money. And if water and sewer are going to be using this, I want them to pay a portion of it directly and take it off the taxpayers' back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drabeck. Would anyone else like to be heard? Seeing no hands, we'll move the question. All those in favor of an appropriation in the amount of $221,564 for the purpose of acquiring by way of lease or purchase or a simulcast system to be added to the town's existing communication system, more particularly described in the town's fiscal year 2012-2013 capital improvement plan, as evidenced by one or more agreements for the acquisition of said system by lease or purchase or a combination thereof for a total price of $213,131 plus interest at the rate of 1.59% per annum, payable on the annual installments of $44,313 at the rate of $3,693 per month over a period of 5 years. The first selectman is authorized in the name of and on behalf of the town to execute and deliver any documents which may be required in connection with this transaction. Please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed by saying nay. Nay. I rule the ayes have it. The motion carries. The next item on the agenda is to appropriate the amount of $59,118 for the purpose of repairing, renovating, and installing related improvements to the town's parking lot at Cheney Park. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Seri.
Second.
Ms. Cheeseman. Is there any discussion on this item? Mr. First Selectman.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. By way of explanation, this is the area that is used for the parking down at Cheney Park. As you know, Amtrak is coming to a close for their installation of the bridge, and subsequently we expect to open their half of the boardwalk sometime in May or June. As part of their exit, they are kind of working their way out through the parking lot, and when they created their work zone, they took 75 feet of the parking lot, which was their property line, and they created a fenced-in area that would protect and isolate their working equipment and people. Their part of this responsibility is to renovate the parking lot under that area. They needed electricity to get to that point, and this $59,118 represents an amount that they paid to the town for an easement to put a pole on our property so that they could get the electricity to their spot. So this money will be paid for, this money will be offset by the revenue that we received from CL&P and it will go a long way to getting the rest of the parking lot that we are being responsible for fixed and renovated and subsequently paved. I don't know that it will take all of it to get there, but it will be a good portion to get it done. We're going to see, as we work our way out with the construction manager there, who have been very good partners for the town. They not only have to fix the area where they worked, but we let them use some of the other areas for storage, and they will have to make that right too. So hopefully this will go almost all the way to get it done. But we will increase our parking from the 60s or so up to about 129, is that correct? 127, that's right, we just took 2 off. Parking spaces there. So this is to appropriate that funding for that money that we receive for CLMP.
Thank you, Mr. First Selectman. Would anyone else like to be heard on this issue? Seeing no hands, then I will move the question to appropriate the amount of $59,118 for the purpose of repairing, renovating, and installing related improvements to the town parking lot at Cheney Park. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. The next item on the agenda is to appropriate the amount of $29,000 to budget account 01-70-725-224-006 NSEP equipment and corresponding revenue account 01-04-400-401 and NSEP grants to purchase equipment noted on the port security proposal Town of East Lyme, to include 3 2012 Polaris 500cc ATVs with storage boxes and safety gear, and 1 2012 Yamaha VX 1100A MA jet ski, including Coast Guard safety package and associated trailer. Is there a motion on this item? Ms. Siri? Mr. Siri and Mr. Nixon. Is there any discussion on this item? Mr. First Selectman.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Again, by way of explanation, this is a reimbursement of the $29,000 from a grant from the Nuclear Safety Equipment Program that we will ask your approval on purchasing 3 ATVs, that 2 of which will be used by the police department and stored there, and 1 ATV will be used by the Park and Rec Commission to work the boardwalk, take care of the beach, do whatever we have to do. As far as the police use of it, it's a safety issue that allows them to traverse the mile or so of beach that we have to get on, inclusive of the new beach, Cooks, Hole in the Wall, etc. This will allow the opportunity to get on those beaches for any rescue or any necessary activity. The jet ski allows us to get into shallow water in case we need to go out and rescue somebody there, which will be kept on a trailer at the police department and be under control of that. Sergeant Blanchette is here. He and the public safety director were instrumental in this. If you need further clarification on that item, they have more details if you like. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Mr. First Selectman. Would anyone like to be heard on this item? Yes, sir.
Bob Shield, 31 Upper Walnut Hill. Most of you know I'm not a big fan of ATVs, and as I was reviewing the agenda for the meeting, I saw them. And just for interest, I looked at what your capital plan was for 2013 and 2014. And just for vehicles, trucks are planned, it showed $455,000 as planned expenditures, plows for $6,000, and police vehicles for another $75,000, for a total of $461,000 of planned expenditures for vehicles. The cost of the ATVs and the jet ski, I just went on the internet to see what the sticker price or retail price of the vehicles are, and I'm not sure I have the specs entirely correct. But the 2012 500cc Polaris was, and I'm not sure it has all the same options, was retailing for $5,699. Times 3 is $17,097. And the Yamaha jet ski, the deluxe model, retailed for $8,995 for a total of $26,092 based on available internet information. An average trailer for a jet ski was list priced at about $999, so about $27,000 was the retail price. Obviously, there were other safety packages, storage boxes, other things in there. In my normal part of my life, rather than coming to these meetings, the material acquisition organization at a major employer works with me, and we found that the bid process for vehicles and other items can significantly drive costs down. You can have verbal negotiations. If you go through a sealed bid process with 3 to 5 bidders, typically the price goes down about 10%. If you go through a reverse auction process, typically the price goes down about 20%. So if you take into account the total vehicle expenditures planned for 13-14 of $461,000 plus this $31,000, if material acquisition processes are used, and I don't know what your policies and procedures are to get the maximum value for dollars authorized, if you save 10%, the town could save $46,000 for the year. If you used reverse auctions and other methods that could yield 20% on material, you could generate another $92,000 in savings. And I certainly support emergency responders needing all the equipment. I would just encourage the town to evaluate their procurement practices to drive the best value for every dollar authorized.
Thank you, Mr. Shield. Yes, sir.
John D'Angelo, 29 Penn Cove Road. I just have a question for the safety director. I'm all for safety. The jet ski sounds good, but I'm just a little confused. The jet ski parked in the police station to help somebody by the time they get there, it just seems like it would be too late. I don't understand what the plan is, or if there's an SOP for that, because it just seems like it would take too long. It seems kind of worthless to have it at that point.
Thank you, Mr. D'Angelo. Mr. Blanchett?
Sir. Bill Blanchett, I'm a resident trooper. To answer your question, we actually thought long and hard on that. To leave it in the water is an option. The town does have dock space. But based on where the dock space is located, if it's something on the other end of town, it's not going to be expeditious enough, I guess is the question. So what the plan is, and for the jet skis, or excuse me, for the quad, heaven forbid, that bridge goes up and we can't get down to Amtrak Beach with a cruiser. As it is right now, we can't get over that groin. You can't take a traditional patrol vehicle down there, and that beach is over a half-mile long, which is why we're looking for the quads. The jet ski will be in the police department parking lot on a trailer hooked up to one of the quads. That way, if it's something in Giant's Neck, if it's something in Black Point, that vehicle can be driven there, can be launched from any beach. The quads are four-wheel drive vehicles. And honestly, it's a good question, but that's what we came up with as getting that thing launched as quickly as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Blanchett. You have another question, sir?
Has it been considered to give to the lifeguards, so it would just be at the beach with the lifeguards? I know they're not the police, but at least it would be a lot quicker to...
The lifeguards have their...
Sorry.
They just keep walking back and forth. Yeah, the lifeguards have their safety equipment, their boards, things like that. The jet ski would be, and one of the things that I talked with Director Putnam about from Parks and Rec is having a Stokes basket, a floating Stokes basket down on the beaches, that should that be needed, it can be brought out there, but they're going to have their paddle boards and their rescue equipment as well.
Thanks, Sergeant Blanchard. Anyone else like to be heard on this motion? Yes, Mr. Dravick.
It just seems funny. It used to be a free beach owned by the public, not the town, before the bridge was redone. Anybody could use it. There's never a problem. Didn't need jet skis, didn't need ATVs, et cetera, et cetera. Now suddenly it's a town-owned beach. And now we have what I call bigger government and a headache. Now we got maintenance, now we have more liability, and I think it's sad. We should have just left the damn thing alone. The sand would have come in, it would have been a free beach again. Taxpayer bought that property and it wasn't supposed to be developed. Now we're getting water and sewer in there. It was supposed to be a park, now it's no longer Cheney Park, it's Cheney Parking Lot, which I think is getting to be a sad joke in itself. This is nothing but bigger government. Now we're getting jet skis because somebody gave us money, which in the end is probably our money anyway. I'm not sure if this is direct tax money or money that I paid for through my electric bill, but I think this is a sad joke for something that used to be free. Used to be owned by the people, not the town. I just can't believe that it mushrooms this much. We took property off the tax rolls when we bought it. There was never any intent to develop that property, and now all we have is a headache. I don't see any business plan or how we're going to generate, how much money we're going to generate to pay for all this stuff. I figure you can go to Rocky Neck, you can count the people out there and what it costs to run that beach, and I think we've already exceeded it in jet skis. This is a sad joke on the taxpayer. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Dravick. Would anyone else like to be heard? Seeing no hands, we'll move the question. All those in favor of appropriating the amount of $29,000 to budget account 0170-725-224-006 NSEP equipment and corresponding revenue account 0104-400-401 NSEP grants to purchase equipment noted in the Port Security Proposal, Town of East Lyme, to include 3 2012 Polaris 500cc ATVs with storage boxes and safety gear, and 1 2012 Yamaha VX 1100A MA jet ski, including Coast Guard safety package and associated trailer. Please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it. The motion carries. There being no other items on the agenda, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I didn't hear. Ms. Holly? Is there a second? Mr. Nickerson? All those in favor of adjourn, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by saying nay. The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned.